is Erta Wanderer, and I have paused in my wanderings today in order to talk with one of our most esteemed Star Masters, the great Lizardwizard. How are we doing today, Wizard?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, especially considering lately we have gotten new tactics and general information on our spawnings from the Slan through the Astromatrix. And I was wondering, what do you think so far of our new tome?
Uh, Brief overall high points. Love the lore. All the new information related to all the various sub factions, the various units, the Saurus, the Skink, Starseer, Slan, Croak. All of that was great. Um, was kind of disappointed with the painting section. Some other battle tomes have had a lot more interesting painting sections. This one was pretty bland.
Yeah, it
Uh,
seems to be mostly what we got in the last one. That
yeah,
said, I've never been much good at the painting part, so it does help a lot, especially the in detail part of our monsters.
yes, that part was cool. I I still haven't found good uses for contrast paint that I enjoy, and a lot of it used some contrast paint. So that wasn't super useful. Getting close up pictures of some of the skinks though, to like see how GW does some of the patterning and spotting and all of that. That was cool. I liked that.
Hmm.
Um, our allegiance abilities, sub factions, war scrolls, all steps in the right direction.
Yep. Our lore, like you said, our lore is really a step up. It used to be nothing
Yeah.
of any interest, and now every single bit of it is just so much fun. Especially
Hmm.
the detailed look at our sub factions, like the
Yeah,
fact
that was
that.
my favorite part of the lore.
Mhm. The fact that the thunder lizards, we bind magic metal to the bones of our monsters to make them tougher.
Yeah, I know, right? We're basically an army of Wolverine. I'll
Hmm.
take it.
And in Coatl's Clutch does a lot to show how Seraphon react when they lose their slan.
Yes, yes.
And it's always good to see that the cult of Sotek is still alive and well in the New World.
Uh huh. Yep. Maybe with enough prayers, we can remanifest 10 and 1.
Ooh, oh, that'd be nice. That, or just bring the snake god back in all his glory.
Yeah, long live Sotek. Down with the rat things.
Hmm. Well, I believe that we're going to go through this book a little bit step by step. Might jump around a bit, but guess we get to start with our allegiance abilities and what we think of just this standard one.
Yeah, the ways of the Seraphon, which is also like just good job, Games Workshop, for like picking the appropriate nomenclature for
They've
each of the
always been
things.
really
Like,
good at naming things.
yeah, they nail it. Uh, I like getting to choose between Starborn and Coalesced. That was great. I think it was a good way forward with the book.
Hmm.
I know on Lustria Online, a lot of discussions several months ago were revolved around what do we want to see from summoning? How do we want Saurus to be? Like, we want to be able to play more than just board control. And I feel like this was a good way to relatively preserve our old method of playing while being able to add in a new one. Um,
Hmm. I know we both fall on the coalesced side. I have yet to stay too long in any realm to become bound to it, and you're a star seer.
yeah.
But what exactly draws you to the Starborn?
uh, it's two things. So let's jump ahead from our other Legion's abilities and do Starborn Coalesced real quick. The main thing that I like about Starborn is Lords of Space and Time.
Hmm.
Uh, Teleporting is just an amazing ability in general. The next thing I like most about it isn't actually their summoning;
Because
it's
at the moment,
unfeeling.
summoning is very
It's
slow.
that, yeah, yeah. And maybe something will come out and clarify. Like, I don't know, maybe we'll get D3 per spell and be able to give up more spells. There's a number of people that I've talked with in the greater Sigmar community that lean towards that interpretation, but I lean towards the just giving up the one spell.
Hmm.
But unfeeling, that 10 bravery characteristic, is huge now because in general our bravery got a lot lower across the board.
Which
Gone are the
is
days of celestial demons.
hmm It's certainly far more lore friendly, but it's especially with how they made Coalesced, it's going to
Hmm.
hurt our armies quite a bit.
Yes, yeah. In part, it's almost a double whammy with Coalesced because they get cold blooded, which prevents them from having modifiers at all.
Right.
So if you have that unit of 40 Saurus warriors, normally that would be giving you +3 bravery.
It would be a
Um,
bravery of 11, yes.
yeah, exactly. But we don't get that.
It's almost like a nerf, actually.
Yeah, I really feel like it is. So I'm wondering if they're intending for like casualties to also not impact the modifier of bravery, but that
So you
it,
just roll a d6?
yeah, and then I guess yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Um, like I don't know why they would give us that. It feels worse.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They might clarify it, but until then, we'll have to see. It does mean
yeah.
that skinks will be very hard to run in Coalesced.
Uh huh. Yep.
But and the other two bonuses that Coalesced get seem to be very situational. Primeval Domain could have been really good if it also ignored faction terrain,
Yes. Agreed.
but it doesn't, and so it's useful, but you can
Hmm.
never really rely on it to do anything because of how terrain works.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Predatory fighters, fine. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it makes all the behemoths a lot better. Uh, Not enough better for me to run a bunch of them in a list at once, but enough for me to enjoy having a hero on a behemoth.
Yep.
Scaly skin is the main reason to go coalesce, though. If
And
you go
that's the
coalesced, it's
weird one. Depending on
yep,
the army you're fighting, it is either the most busted thing in the game or
yeah,
completely useless.
yeah, exactly. Like against ogres, you maw tribes, that's massive. Uh, there's a good chance you'll cut their damage in half to a third, like pretty consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Fire Slayers also amazing against like
Against Iron
not taking
Jaws
those. Yep.
and Zinch to a smaller effect.
Yeah, all that D3 damage profile now. In
Mm-hmm.
average, it's going to be 1 damage uh, per. Like that's pretty massive. And at least Disciples of Zinch is pretty prevalent in the meta, as is Iron Jaws. So that might be where we see more of the benefit from Scaly Skin.
Yeah, but then you get to Daughters of Cain, Skaven, Cities.
Yep.
Uh,
Even Osaric Bone Reapers, like
mm-hmm.
most of the work is done by Mortek Guard, which is 1 damage weapons.
Especially at high tables, there's only really two armies that consistently do more than one damage.
Yep.
So, it's a shame.
Contemplation of the Ancients is nice because it actually makes all those weird situational spells that the Slan know potentially usable.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to change out your spell. Yeah, I like it. It's still at the end of the hero phase, which I think is cool. But I wish it wasn't just your hero phase. I wish it was end of a hero phase.
Mm.
Uh, I think that would make it a lot more usable. Because then you would be like, oh yeah, my Slan took damage, and I'm going to switch to Celestial Apotheosis and heal some damage on him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Astromacies, Sacred Astromacies, I think that is overall uh, the biggest buff we got in terms of allegiance and ability. Like taking it off of the Slan War Scroll and making it something we roll for. Like it is weaker in each instance because it's no longer table wide.
But you get to
Um,
choose it, which is why I always never counted it towards our spell casting when people used to say, oh, our spells are good.
yes, yeah,
And you can change it, which is great. Early
yeah,
on,
and
hmm?
yep.
Early
Oh, go
on,
ahead.
I was under the impression that it was Starborn only, and that even pushed me further in that direction. But I'm glad
Mhm.
both sides can take it.
Yeah, and Hunter Steed at least is still like table wide. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make you pick one. Um, I think it's pretty much always going to be the Sage's staff, unless there's just not an enemy wizard on the table. Then I might find myself taking Hunter Steed more and more, or maybe on those battle plans like Duality of Death, where you want to get to the center objectives ASAP. Hunter Steed is great,
Yep.
but I think
And
most
Great
of the
Drake
time,
is really good if you want to have one really powerful monster.
yeah, like a Carnosaur buffed up or something like that. It's great.
Hmm.
Uh,
I think we're going to skip command traits. They don't matter
yeah.
because we're always going to be in a sub-faction.
Yep.
The only thing worth mentioning is, for some reason, some of the sub-factions command abilities are a combination of multiple normal ones.
Yes. Yep.
It's like GW knows the fact that everyone ignores this page.
The only command trait that I think that I'm going to routinely get to pick to put on a hero is going to be Master of Star Rituals. It's a skink command trait.
Hmm.
It basically just gives +1 to casting if it's a wizard.
So it
Uh,
essentially gives them the slan buff.
yeah, exactly. And most of the time, I'm going to be bringing Croak because he's good now and he's cheap at 320 points, which means I'm going to make a skink Starseer my general, and then I might as well give him Master of Star Rituals.
Hmm.
Um, So I think a lot of my list, I'm going to be taking that. Um, Back to Starborn, summoning got hit real hard.
Yes.
Like I think you can expect to summon 10 skinks a turn now.
Even if that, that's going to be a rare occurrence.
That's true, yeah, because you're not necessarily going to want to give up that spell slot. Um,
And
but I'm pretty much always going to have an Astrolith, and I'm going to have a Slan, and I'm going to have a Starseer. Uh, but yeah,
yep. And to a lesser extent, also with artifacts of power, we're just going to touch a bit on them. The real winners here are Stegodon Helm and Ikit Grubs.
yes, yes, the Ikit Grubs are great. Uh, I also like Cloak of Feathers. Like Cloak of Feathers is Thermal Rider's Cloak plus Griff Feather Charm
Mm.
smashed together. Uh,
Yep, it's a shame. We used to have that just inherently, but
yeah, yeah. You just had your Skink Priest had a Cloak of Feathers.
that said, having a flying Stegodon just charge across the board is just the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, or like if for whatever reason you're running like a fluffy list and you have a Pterodon chief and a bunch of like Pterodons and that kind of a thing, and you're not really worried about building the most competitive list, Cloak of Feathers on that Pterodon chief, so now he's -2 to hit,
Mm.
uh, +4 movement. Like that's not bad.
He's moving
Uh,
20 then, isn't he?
yeah, yeah, he's moving 20 inches. Uh, and frankly, our all of our skink heroes are pretty mandatory and they're pretty brittle. So that's mostly also going backwards. What I see our summoning doing. Like
Mm.
if you're Starborn and you're summoning, you're probably replacing that skink chief they just sniped, or bringing back a skink priest, or who knows what. Like I think that's where it's going to mostly get used. That 10 slot, bring back my skink hero you just murdered.
Right, that's another reason why Sacred Stegodon Helm will be taken, especially on like the Skink Chief, because
Uh
that
huh.
+1 to save is really, really useful.
Yeah, it's huge. And yeah, sure. Add 1 to the damage characteristics if it's charged. That's not bad.
Hmm.
I'll take it.
It's just you're not taking it for that, but it's nice to have.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the Saurus artifacts are sad, just like the Saurus command abilities are sad. It's good that their native one to Quaddle is so good.
Yes. You know, Blade of Realities isn't bad. Extra 1 rend, extra 1 damage. We've got a couple of heroes where that's okay on. Like you put it on a Carnosaur Scar Veterans War Spear, and now you're rend 1/2 damage with 6 attacks.
Or
It's
3
okay.
on the charge.
Or 3 on the charge. Yep, it's okay. Especially since all those Celestite weapons on our heroes on a 6 do a double hit.
Hmm.
So it's not awful, but I'd rather just take some of the malign sorcery weapons. Like
Right.
that's the issue with it.
Yeah, ever since Malign Sorcery came out, you don't have to be not bad, you have to be better than the standard ones.
Yep, yep,
That's why the old Blade of Reality just dropped off the map, because when you can just make your Rend 3, +1 Rend does not help.
yeah, yeah. Well, in Realm of Shaman, where the Rune Blade is, that gives you that 3 rend, has some other great artifacts. In Realm of Shadow, where there's that other rend run or rend 3 Blade of Realities,
Ulgu?
there's amazing artifacts.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
for Ulgu, I'm sorry. Like yeah, it's just hard to compete with taking one of those realms and getting those artifacts.
Hmm. Ah well. Maybe someday they'll give our Saurus heroes the love they need.
Yeah, I mean we can always hope for White Dwarf.
Eh, true. I've been talking with my store manager, and I'm hoping that we actually get mount traits in an upcoming White Dwarf, because
Hmm.
they've given additional rules before.
Yeah, that was my biggest disappointment for rules. Actually, it was summoning. Summoning was my biggest disappointment.
Hmm.
After that, it was mount traits.
I don't know why we're the only ones who didn't get them, because the big dinosaurs are kind of our thing. More than any other
Yeah.
faction, we are the ones who run a lot of monsters.
Yep. Yeah.
Speaking of
I guess
disappointments,
Slaves to Darkness didn't get mount traits, and I kind of expected that. Uh,
they don't really have all that many monsters, though.
no, they've just got like the manticores and then the various demonic steeds.
Yeah, but I don't think do demonic steeds count?
I don't know. I mean, frickin', it seems like Stormcast has mount traits for every type of mount they can put a
Well,
hero on.
it's Stormcast. They're the chosen.
It's true, yeah.
Hmm. Anyway, speaking of disappointments, we have spell lores.
Uh huh. Yeah.
I really wish our
The
slam
bounce
would
spells are cool though.
yeah, I really wish our slam would focus much less on binding endless spells and much more at being actually good casters.
Uh huh. I
Because
agree.
all
Yep.
the power in that engine, they don't have a lot of options to be casting,
Yeah. There's Stellar Tempest. That's
which is now good. It used to be so inconsistent I could never justify casting it.
yeah, but now we've got all these bonuses.
And so it went from a if this goes off, it's awesome to it's just really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Celestial Equilibrium is great because
Situationally.
the other lore, the skink lore, is all I don't know. I like almost all the spells from it. Not all of them, but there's two of them. I like. There's two of them I don't like, and the rest I like or would use depending.
Mm.
Uh,
A lot of the ones that are good with skinks are only good because they took away everything else that made us good.
that's true. Yeah.
Hand of Glory is
Uh,
only good because they took away our 10 bravery,
yep.
uh, which is the
Oh
one
yeah,
that,
Celestial Harmony, the braver immunity.
yep, which is the one that rerolls ones.
Yeah, I feel like it's a mandatory spell if you're running Coalesced.
Especially if you're
Uh,
doing skink hordes.
yeah, skink hordes or even just Saurus. Like I don't want to lose six Saurus and then see D6 -2 run.
That said,
Uh,
if you were right about lost bodies not counting as a modifier, then I don't think this will ever be taken again because that makes Saurus immune to bravery.
yeah, exactly.
And it
So
makes skinks very resilient against it.
it really does because now you're only losing one on a six. But I don't know. It's gonna like I don't think that was Games Workshop's intent.
Granted, I'm
Uh,
going to abuse it until they fix it.
yeah, yeah, just because the way the wording works. Um, but Celestial Equilibrium, Stellar Tempest, even Drain Magic. Like I can see myself using all of those.
The
Um,
problem with Drain Magic is that unless your opponent is playing Endless Spellblock Zinch,
mhm.
you're never going to actually need it because we
It's
have
true.
map-wide dispels already,
Yeah,
and three spells to do it with. So if they
yeah,
just
we've got
brought
the
one or
slots.
two,
Yeah, but at the same time, we can like our allegiance ability lets us do that switch. So if for whatever reason you are running against the endless spell goblin list, now drain magic, sweet, I'll use it then.
mm,
Um, like it'll probably come up. Same for celestial apotheosis, it'll probably come up. I'll probably need to heal Croak D3 wounds at some point.
and the ability to switch your spell is the only thing that makes all these side spells at all worth it
Yep, yep.
because you'd
Same
never
for
waste a
Mysticum
spell slot
Forging.
on it.
Oh, for sure. But if for whatever reason I'm facing a Frost Lord Ethereal Amulet on Stonehorde, uh, well, now I can switch to Mystical and Forging and I don't know, maybe get rid of that Ethereal Amulet so that my Renless army can have a better chance of killing it.
Still not a good chance of it, but
Yeah,
honestly, at that point, I think that just drowning it in skink bolts would be a better option.
that's true. Or, Salamander, get that Rin too.
It won't help with the ethereal, but they do a lot of damage regardless.
Yeah, and that's why that Mysticon Forging, like having a 33% chance to maybe break their artifact. Because a 7 plus,
It's a
like,
bit less because you actually have to get it off, but yeah.
it's true, but I'm probably going to have a +3 in most cases, so I'm only looking for a 4 up. That feels pretty doable.
Mm. It,
Uh,
it does drop it to like 1 in 7 chance, I believe.
yeah, something like that. But yeah, Celestial Harmony for Skinks, that Bravery immunity. Hand of Glory, rerolling ones. Sure, I'll always take rerolling ones for hits. Um,
And
especially
especially
since,
because the Ashlith got hit so hard.
yeah, yep. And the Skink Star Priest, like the range, you can't put it on your friendly unit anymore to give them -1 to be hit. You
Mm,
can only put it on the enemy. So sure, I'll probably cast Hand of Glory turn 1 if I'm gonna try and make a Skink bomb run up and shoot you.
right.
Um,
I think it's kind of by design that they made all the skinks much shorter range.
uh-huh.
The best way to protect them is to stick them right to the back of whatever unit they're buffing to get the lookout sir and to just generally be surrounded.
Yeah,
And so they're going to be close enough because everyone's going to be charging the block that they're a part of.
very true. Yeah. I do really like Tide of Serpents, in part because of Arcane Vassal. So if I have a Skink Star Priest, I'm probably giving him Tide of Serpents if I'm not giving him Hand of Glory,
Mm-hmm.
because then I can put him up front and center in the enemy army. He's gonna have stuff within 12 inches of him, and then I can spam Celestial Deliverance from Croak from him as well, and just deal a bunch of mortal wounds. Like Tide of Serpents, that's definitely got some
And that's
uses.
when an equilibrium would really help out because the skinks don't have a natural casting ability.
Yeah, you're just looking for that Ashleth Bearer +1, and maybe if you're feeling confident on your Slan, you give it to your Sage's Staff to a Skink instead,
Mm-hmm.
or a Master of Star Rituals, which I'm
Yep.
going to take a lot.
Tide of Serpents I used to think was just outright busted because I think I told you someone had told me that it affects all units within 12,
Yeah. Uh
which
huh.
is why I thought it had the 8 to cast, despite being a worse version of Stellar Tempest
Uh huh.
on
Yep.
a less competent mage.
Yep.
Same with Banged Endless Spells. It's a shame it only works for one turn.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, that would be kind of mean to steal endless spells from someone for the entire game, but you know.
Yeah, but there's a lot of instances where you only have to bind it for one turn. Like,
Mm,
aha, I stole your Emerald Life Swarm, and now you're not going to get the hill out of it. Or I redirected your Purple Sun, and now it's going to take a turn back in the game. Like,
now,
it's
now's a good
it's
time to
useful
actually talk
enough.
about endless spells. I know that
Yeah,
you've been champion Emerald Life Swarm because it's a very useful one, and I will forever be the High Priest of Geminids.
yeah, Geminids are amazing.
Oh, so much nicer now that you don't have to worry about them hitting you. But are there any
Yeah,
other endless spells that you think would really gel well with the Seraphon?
for bound endless spells, um, Flaming Skull, not bad. Uh,
You do
Eighth
have to be
Devoid
careful with it.
Pendulums, not bad. Like any of the damaging spells for a bound spell isn't bad. Purple Sun's fine. Like Purple Sun, just slaying a model is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gets around a lot of the save after save meta that's currently going around. So if we
Right.
can move a Purple Sun over like a big old blob of Fire Slayers, uh, that's pretty good. Like you'll you'll get really
3
good
to 4
damage
of them.
value out of it. Yeah. Same for ogres. Not that ogres are a huge problem in the meta in any way,
No.
but being able to get past all those save after saves and that kind of a thing, Purple Sun's got a place. Um, the other bound or the other endless spells, they're the same. Cogs and Bellwind Vortex will always be good for our army. Um, we want to control charging and movement and having extra spells. We've got enough usable slots. Like I'll probably still bring Cogs to a lot of my games. If I'm bringing Croak, I'm bringing Bellwind Vortex. Like I'm probably going to bring it to a lot of games.
Just for that 22 inch radius doom spell.
Yeah, on Celestial Deliverance, it's amazing. It's
Mm-hmm.
really good. Um,
We tend to be
yeah,
a very powerful Mortal Wounds army.
yeah, which is awesome. That's what works well in meta. Uh, our biggest issue is that we're a pretty high drop army now.
True, but that seems to be more and more common. With
Uh
some
huh. Yep.
bizarre exceptions like Zinch, most armies can't do 1 drops anymore.
Yep. Yeah, it seems like 4 to 5 is generally considered a low drop army now for the most part.
Mm-hmm. And
Uh,
we can barely hit 5, so.
yep. Yep. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it for us to hit 5.
I
Like,
don't
I'm
think
kind of
so.
in that boat of, and I'm going to be over 8 anyways. So in for a penny, in for a pound. I'll just like have 13 or 14 drops.
I want to see how high I can push that drop.
Yeah.
Can I get to 30 drops? Can
uh,
I? Maybe. Hmm. I'm going to add that to Killer Angel's crazy list building.
how many drops can I get?
Hmm.
Minimum sized unit, everything.
Well, while still
Uh,
being good. But another thing that helps with our Mortal Wounds output is the Realm Shaper engine. This thing is just so cool.
yeah, it's a lovely model.
And the
Either way you build
background
it.
behind it, the fact that we just airdrop giant terraforming engines onto
Uh huh.
planets so that we have jungles to live in again.
Yep.
Just so stubborn that we're recreating Lustria.
The old one's will must be done.
Hmm. And I know that we can choose to set it up on the table, which means against our really bad matchups who might get to it before we do, we don't have to actually field it.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I don't know how many people in the community have realized. You're not guaranteed to get your engine. For the phasing of how it's set up, it is set up essentially directly after the battle plan is determined,
mm-hmm.
uh, and then all the other terrains set up, and then you roll off for priority on sides. Uh,
And this could lead to very clever play. Like if you
mhm.
place it somewhere that if your opponent gets that side, it hurts them, but if you get that side, you have a good bunker.
Yep. Well,
It,
also, like, specifically think about Battle for the Pass. If you're playing a horde army on Battle for the Pass, and it's that skinny diamond, and
mm-hmm.
you place it like in their back bottleneck, like they might not actually be able to place their whole army if they can't garrison it.
Mm-hmm. So it does have its uses despite this, and if you can get a wizard in it, it just it hits the table so hard.
Hmm. Yeah, just D3 mortal wounds to a bunch of enemies. Oh, that's great. Like you're gonna snipe some heroes, you're gonna thin some, you're gonna steal a lot of horde bonuses from people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like that in and of itself is going to be extremely valuable.
If I do get it, I'm considering hitting my own salamanders so I can get 6 of them in it.
Ooh, yeah. Hmm.
Like just running a scythe through my 2 blocks of salamanders so that you can put oh shoot, how many? 32 shots into the thing.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be amazing.
But it's going to take a lot of clever play.
What's interesting and potentially worth thinking about for the Realm Shaper engine, we can garrison up to 20 wounds in it. You don't have to pay for a full, like, you have to pay for a full unit, but you don't have to take a full unit. So if you really wanted to, you could put a lot more salamanders inside of it.
Wait, so you don't have
Uh,
to take skink handlers in a salamander unit?
yeah, you still have to pay for them, but this is just part
Ah.
of the core rules of the game. Like I can bring a unit of 7 skinks, but they still cost me 60 points. So you could bring a 12 salamander hunting pack, pay the 240 points, but not put the handlers on the table.
And so you
Uh,
just have the 3 units that you actually want. That could fix a lot of people's worries about
yeah.
battle shock in them.
So you could abuse that. Like I would definitely say that is abusing. Um, I really feel like that wasn't their intent, but you
Well,
can
that's what
kind of
they
do it.
get when they make a unit weaker by adding models.
Yeah, I know, right? uh,
And the
so
wording is 1 in 4 must not may be a salamander, so you're right. You don't have to have the rest of the handlers there for them to run it.
exactly. You would have to have a. Yeah, yeah, because you'd still be 1 in 4, and then you just wouldn't bring the others. So yeah, you could definitely do that.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested to know if we can teleport in or out of the Realm Shaper engine. I'm almost positive we can teleport out it, but I think they're going to errata it so you can't teleport into it.
Yeah, because currently we Lords of Space and Time at the end of the movement phase, and then you can give up movement to enter at the end of the movement phase.
Mm-hmm.
So we can definitely teleport not into it, but right next to it, and then
And then
jump
just go
into
into
it.
it.
Yeah, which is actually I think okay. um, because we have to be 9 inches from enemies. So if people are outside of 3 inches of the temple, which is what it takes to be able to garrison it,
Mm.
uh, they could still be within 9 inches of an outside edge where you could get within 6 inches. So I feel like it's easy enough for opponents to zone you out of Lords of Spacing Timing into your temple, anyways. Uh,
True, but they
I,
have to expend men power to do that.
yeah, that's true.
A lot of we still play remarkably cagey with putting our stuff on the board
Uh huh.
because the auto teleport. I really wish that our second one had just become a spell on the Slan's not war scroll, but in his lore.
Spell lore? Yeah, why couldn't Walk Between Realms have just been another Lords of Space and Time?
Because at the moment it's a add fly to unit when the person who
The
generates command abilities can just spend one to
Yep,
make them fly.
yep.
And
But hey, we've got other things to do with our command points at least.
and doesn't walk between realms sound like a teleport more than it does a fly?
It sounds exactly like a teleport.
I mean, if it was going to be a flying one, why not call it like Wings of the Old Ones or something?
Yeah, like Codal Wings or
Ooh,
yeah,
Wings of the Serpent.
yeah. Like it. There's so many things you could have done with it.
I know we praise
Besides,
GW for naming prowess, but I think they bungled that one. Either
I
that or
agree.
it was
Actually, I
originally a
think they
teleport.
named it perfectly. They just should have made it do something else.
Yeah, it makes me think that it was originally a teleport and then they changed it.
That could be. Yeah. Or it was a teleport, and then they were like, "Hey, let's give them spells in GHB 2019." And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to change the spells because we can't have them have 3 teleports." I don't know. It's all
And then they
speculation.
didn't change it back.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I think that's a lot of why our spells are so sad.
Yeah, it could
Is
be because
they
the
used to
General's
be
Handbook.
awesome and then they just pulled back hard.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm.
So, sub factions or
Ooh,
constellations.
this is the meat of the issue.
Uh huh.
Depending
Yep.
on what you choose here, and almost all of them are a winner for one reason or another, and the one
Uh
that
huh.
is sad still has its uses.
Yeah.
It's essentially what part of the army do you love the most? Play that.
Uh huh. Yep. Or each of them have a like, what do you love most? Play that. And there's always an or option. Like
Mm-hmm.
Tales of Dracothian, you can build anything with Tales of Dracothian. It's just deep striking. That's great. That's awesome.
I really
Anyone's
wish
happy to
they
deep strike.
weren't Prime Faction bound, because
Yes,
I
I agree.
really want to run a Starborn Coatls Claw,
Uh huh. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
but or actually,
I'd run a Coalesce Dracothian's Tale as
yeah,
well.
that's what I was thinking because just Coalesced is supposed to be our stormtroopers
Yep.
in faction, and being able to airdrop your stuff is, gee, so much better. Although Dracothian's Tail is significantly less useful with teleports.
It's true. Yeah. It's still good because we only get one Lords of Space and Time now, but it's way less useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
the lore of it just being, hey, we're working with the dragon, and he's helping us out.
yeah.
It's our front line one. It's just generally very powerful. It's the one we were talking about in command traits. Its command ability for Slan is two of his command abilities and half of it gets grub.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
Gain an extra
so
spell lore?
good.
Sure. Maybe I'll use that. Reroll casting, dispelling, and unbindings. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. It's just real good. And then if you give him it's at grub as well, now you can do two of them. Like that's real good.
Yep. And the
God Beast Pendant,
is
also great.
essentially just the shoot. What was it? What did it used to be called?
Incandescent Rectrices,
Yep.
which is
Which
now something Skinks can grab.
it's not the best defensive artifact out there, but it's solid, especially on such an important piece.
Uh huh. Yep. Yeah, I'll take it on a slam. 50-50 shot at ignoring this play you tried to make to snipe him.
Mm-hmm.
Like killing a slan's no easy thing, especially if you've got him on a Bellwind with cogs in cover. Much
In a
less that
temple.
and in a temple. And now it's only got a 50% chance of succeeding, even if they do it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty solid. And then the deep striking is just it's deep striking. It's great.
I like the
Uh,
idea that you can drop half of your deep striking, teleport, and then drop the rest of them.
yep.
But I think you
I
mentioned beforehand there are times when you wouldn't at all because of how vulnerable the slan remains.
Yeah, like if I'm playing against Disciples of Zinch or
Cities, or really any
yeah,
double
Living
strike army.
City, then I'm not putting anything in the heavens. Uh, it's just too risky. Like it's too easy to kill that slan, even with the 50% chance that it'll come back with God Beast Pendant.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, that's not worth the risk to me.
Yep, because yeah, trapping all your guys in the sky is essentially game over.
Yep. Although what is kind of cool, the way Dracothian's Tell works is you can put one in reserve for each one you put on the table.
Hmm.
So if you want to be kind of cheeky, you can take a maxed out Star Strike Star Host,
Hmm.
and you can save those guys, and you put half of your Dracothian's Tell on the table, half in the heavens, and then all of your Shadow Strike in the heavens at the end. So you can end up with even more in the heavens.
And just
Uh,
a single ballsy slan staring at the enemy, saying, "Come and get me."
yeah, just a Slan and Saurus Guard to maybe keep him.
Just bwaha.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah, I
lot
like
of
it.
fun things to do with that one,
Fangs of Sotek is
which
my
I believe is
favorite.
your personal favorite.
Yes. Yeah. It's easily my favorite. Um, 3 inches of extra movement. That's awesome.
Hmm.
The command trait you don't have to take if your general is not a source, which means that Skink Starseer can have Master of Star Rituals.
That said, the
Uh,
command trait's very good.
it is, yeah. 3+ to get an extra command point. I'll take it. That's cool. Um, God Serpent Dagger is just hilarious. Uh,
Not terribly useful, but the idea of this
yeah,
tiny little skink one-shotting, I don't know, Archeon.
yeah, Archaea or Marathi because it gets through Marathi's Iron.
Does it? Oh,
Uh,
that it just slays it outright. That's right.
yeah, it just slays it outright.
The
So you've
only
got a
ability that
if
stops that is like Gotrix.
yeah, exactly. So if for whatever reason you manage to stick a wound to him, then you've got a 33% chance of just killing him. Like, I'll take it. That makes now my Skink Priest scary. If I send my Skink Priest into combat with Marathi, and then I've got two other things fighting units of Witch Elves, and I activate to fight the Witch Elves, you have to activate Marathi. You can't risk it. So I get to fight both blobs of Witch Elves before they swing. Like, I'll take it. That's useful.
Hmm. It's a shame it doesn't go on ranged weapons. We could bring back our that one chameleon skink assassin that way.
Oxal or Oxagal, whatever is. Yeah,
Oxaglotl.
that sounds right.
Yep. Just being able to snipe heroes off the board would be hilarious, but obviously way too strong.
Yep. And then the command ability, parting shot. Like we lost wary fighter, but now we get it 50% of the time, and we get to shoot when we do it. Uh, like
Yeah.
I like that command ability a lot. I like it on small units of skinks. I like it on big units of skinks. Like I just like it. It's where most of my command points will go.
I don't think it's worth the trade, but you're right. It at least helps. Oh man, I'm sad what they did with skinks. They're
Yeah,
yeah, they're about the same damage wise, but that was never their job, and I'm gonna miss dancing around the board with them.
we can at least now pile enough buffs on them that we can make them almost as scary as plug monks, and that makes me happy. Just that we can do it.
Yep,
Uh,
you shouldn't
I don't.
because that's a massive waste of resources, but you
It
can.
is, yeah. You could just put that on Ripperdactyls, Pterodons, Salamanders, really anything else. Uh,
Which is
but
which is the real downside to a lot of our units in our armies. Everything in our army can be good. We have a Nova Burst strategy, just pump
uh huh,
up a unit and shove it down someone's throat.
yep,
But that means that you're looking for the thing that's best, not necessarily what you want to do.
yeah. Although it does give our army a lot of flexibility,
Right.
um,
We don't have
because
one
we can
key
turn
unit.
anything into a threat.
Which, man, when I first read our War Scrolls, I'm still massively disappointed in them because I like powerful War Scrolls that get a bit better with buffing instead of
Versus mediocre that get really
mediocre to
good.
poor War Scrolls that get really powerful with buffing. I
Yeah.
just like inherent power more than I do potential power.
Uh huh.
But the idea that we are playing a cosmic chess game with each and the other leaders of the factions by
Uh-huh.
which unit is the one that will be your doom is very, very Seraphon.
Yeah, it's which cup is the pea under. Uh, yeah,
Except
I
it's
like that.
not a pea, it's a knife and it's going in your throat.
Yeah, yeah. It has got a 1 in 3 chance of just killing your hero. But
Yep.
yeah,
And now the coalesced subfactions, we have Coatl's Claw,
uh-huh, yep.
which I mentioned earlier just has great lore. The idea that the Saurus are the last remaining leaders of a faction and they just destroy everything.
Uh-huh.
And it
It
really shows how coalesced bind themselves to a world.
yeah.
When you take the already savage Saurus and then you put them on Gur, and then they just become even more bloodthirsty, even more berserker rage.
If I had to compare Komodo's Claw to anything else in the Sigmar world, these feel like the bone splitters of Seraphon.
Really?
Yeah, like they're fairly fast, all things considered, for foot guys. They're not super resilient on their initial save, but they've got other ways of reducing damage because you've got the skelly skin. Um, the command ability to get a bunch of bonuses to hit. Like, I don't know, there's just something about them that reminds me of Bone Splitters.
They are the best way to run Saurus because you can almost run command point neutral with them.
Yes.
Because the
Yeah.
4 up get a command point back mixed with Aether Quark's Brooch's 5 up
Yeah.
means that every time your general uses one, you have, I believe, a 72% chance of getting it back.
Yep. Well, and if I'm playing Cordo's Claw, I'm still bringing Croak, and I'm probably bringing a Skink Starstreaker
Well,
and a
right, you have
Skink
to have the
Priest.
command abilities in the first place in order to
Yeah.
defend them.
So I'm not even going to be like command point neutral. Like you're probably going to be growing in command points.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. It's real good.
And their command ability to ignore the main downside of being a charge army is really useful.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do wish that the controlled fury command ability for the faction triggered Saurus Knight's charge on lances.
Right.
Unfortunately, it only triggers for the +1 to hit.
Either that or
Um,
Savagery Incarnate works with everyone, not just Saurus, because that could do a
yeah,
lot to save our monsters.
yeah. Well, and oh man, skinks actually. If you could get skinks with blowpipes to
Glowpipes
like,
and clubs.
yeah, to that many bonuses fully
Hitting on
buffed, that would actually,
twos.
yep. So that you get way more sixes to wound for those mortals. That would be scary.
Wait a minute.
What could have been?
It's just hit rolls for attack, so it would apply to. Oh, it would apply to your shooting if you could shoot after you charged. But
Yeah, and but
that's
you can
strength,
only
so
use it at the
technically.
start of the combat phase. Yep. So it only hit your clubs.
Mm,
Eviscerating Blade's good though. Like give it to
it is. It's a lot of fun. Like I said,
like a
this is where the
Sunblood.
Saurus' stuff is.
Yeah, yeah. Sunbloods. Yeah, I'll take 3 mortal wounds on a 6 to hit. That's awesome. Uh, give it to a Scar veteran with a spear. I'll take 2 mortal wounds and 2 hits for every 6 to hit. That's cool. Like they're just good.
Mm.
There's nothing bad in that. Like there's no tax. You're not giving anything up to take them.
Yeah, for the most part, in all of our factions except one, there isn't any tax ability, tax artifact. They're all solid. Not
Uh huh.
necessarily good, but not something you look at and say, why did they put that on there?
Yep. Thunder lizards, on the other hand, makes it pretty clear that they overlooked some war. Other than just the save of 4, like that was obviously a mistake. Definitely should have been a
Yes.
plus sign after that. But also the way they worded what is the mount of an Stegodon unit.
Right, they're
Uh,
gonna fix that, but the rest of
yeah,
it, all of our monsters are just too slow and just too fragile, and they don't
yeah,
fly, and they can do decent damage, especially for
uh-huh.
their cost. Like, the best place to run a Carnosaur is as the general of a Thunder Lizard, and he gets really, really good. He punches hundreds of points above his weight class like that.
Yeah, like what? Six
But
attacks on his jaws?
yes, 6 attacks, 5 damage on his jaws. He just eats things alive.
Uh huh. Yep.
He does like between 27 and 36 damage on
Yeah,
average.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
But then he dies
Yep.
to
That's
anything.
that. It's better than a ghoul abhorrent ghoul king on Terrorgeist. Like that's crazy with 6 attacks.
Yep. Yeah, the +2 wounds doesn't even help because they'll just die in one shot regardless. The command
Yeah, when you've got a
ability
4-up save, it doesn't matter.
mm, the command ability would be good if the monsters were good. Thunder Lizards has a lot of care put into it, but the War Scrolls behind it did not.
You know, if Engine of the Gods were like if you could stack them, like you could bring like 3 or 4 of them and use their engine ability,
Then it would be awesome.
uh Thunder Lizards would be great. That would be incredible.
But they nerfed
Uh
that as well. They
yep.
triple nerfed the Engine of the Gods.
Yeah, which is really disappointing.
They made its chart worse. They made the
In
way to
part
roll
because I
on the
have
chart worse, and then they made it so that only one of them could go off.
yeah, yeah. And I have 4 of them. So I'm gonna convert 3 of them to not be Engines of the Gods.
I'm still going to run one because I modded the heck out of mine, made it like a royal pavilion, and put a grand priestess on it, and I just like how it looks. But they're never going to tournaments again,
Yeah.
and it makes me sad. It makes
I
me.
mean, I'm never going to bring Thunder Lizards to tournaments in general. I'll play it at the club for fun, but
It's a
it's not
great way
something
to
I'm going to bring
teach
out.
new players
Uh huh.
because it gives up a lot of our really tricksy stuff and just makes it a slugfest, but not one that will absolutely crush them.
Yeah.
And for those who just love running their monster lizards, it
Yeah.
makes them
There's a good
kind of
venue.
better. I know everyone likes the artifact of power flavor wise, but it's not good either.
Yeah. For those who do play Path to Glory, I like our Path to Glory. I play Path to Glory. I look at the Path to Glory that we have for our options. I like all of them. They're cool. It's good.
Hmm.
The things that cost us 2 rolls are the things that I want us to cost 2 rolls. The things that cost one, perfect. The way our follower rewards are split up and we get to choose one, like that's cool. I like it. It's a good path to glory. I think we'll be really strong at it.
I really wish we
Uh,
had a name generator though.
yeah, same.
I want
Uh
the 2 full pages of them trying to make puns out of skink names.
huh. Yep. Speaking of which, I love that the going backwards, the Realm Shaper engine, the little bit of fluff that happens. That skink is named TikTok,
Hmm.
and that makes me happy.
Yep. Yeah, every time they mention lore, they nail it. I love the
Uh
fact
huh.
that we
Yep.
have cults dedicated to researching Seraphon because we're just so mysterious.
Uh huh.
I dislike the retcon. Everyone dislikes the retcon because it looks lazy, but they
It was
built on
lazy.
it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, they
fact,
really did.
yeah, the fact that orcs think we're really fun to fight, so they put up chaos war shrines just to attract our attention.
Uh huh. Yeah. Super awesome. I love it.
So much awesome there. Now we have
Uh,
battalions.
the meat, the what used to define our army, uh, are kind of take it or leave it now.
Yeah, like sub factions have become the new what is this Seraphon army?
Uh huh.
No one's gonna know when they say, "Oh, you're playing Seraphon." They're all crap. How do I build?
Uh huh.
But the battalions, let's be perfectly frank. A lot of armies with battalions are hit and miss. Some of them, like
Hmm.
Sylvaneth, are bad battalions. Others,
Yes.
like Zinch, are really good battalions. We have a
Yep.
couple solid ones, a
Uh huh.
couple useless ones, because everyone has those useless ones. I don't know why they waste paper on mega battalions.
Yeah. You know, for those people that are playing 10,000 point games of Age of Sigmar.
How long do they have? A week?
I don't know. One day I'll do it. Although I will say, because of the way our sub factions work, and I'm pretty much always taking one. Like I might not take one at 1,000 points. I don't know. I'm probably always taking one.
Well, they're
Uh,
useful. Like I said,
I
we don't have.
want,
Hmm?
yeah, I want Aether Quartz Brooch. Like I just want it for almost all of my list. So taking a battalion is basically just how many points do you want to pay to get Aether Quartz Brotes. Find the one that most of the units you like are inside of.
Hmm. And the bonuses are pretty solid.
Uh huh.
Sunclaw is good in both, although for some reason it's better in Starborn.
They all feel switched. Like it feels like the Starborn should have been Temple Host and the Temple Host should have been Starborn. I don't know if that was intentional, if they're like, hey, this will balance out the army, or if someone messed up when they took it to the
Mm.
press. Like, I don't know.
I
But
mean,
they
the
feel
+3 to
inversed.
run in charge in Starborn would have been oppressive for Firelands.
Yeah. Because then you throw down cogs and they've got +5 to your charge with your deep
+6 because
striking
you have the Steed.
steed. Yep, yep. And you're playing Dracothian's Tell. So now you're making charges on a 3 plus. That would have been awesome. I would run a unit of 20 knights, hands down.
And just string them out across the front of the battlefield, turn one, and just
Yeah,
boom.
yeah, their whole battlefield, and you're going to get some damage down. But now they got to chew through a bunch of knights.
Hmm.
That was one of the lists that I used to play occasionally back in the day when people are like, hey, armies only win because they're overpowered and like you just kill each other and it's a dumb game. I was like, okay, I'll show you how you can win without killing a single thing. And I'd run the old Dracothian's Tell and be like, here's 3 units of 20 knights and you're stuck.
Hmm.
Like if you could do that again, that would be funny.
Hmm. And Sunclaw at least makes sense. They're doing a lot to promote Jaws and Coalesced, so
Uh huh.
+1 rend on Jaws makes sense. It's just +1 rend to weapons is better.
Okay, so the best thing about +1 Rin to Jaws is now I can take all my dice and like have my big dice be my celestial weapons, my little dice be my jaws, roll them all together, and then my opponent can make all their saves at once because they both have Rind one.
Hmm.
Uh, that's the best thing about Sunclaw Temple Host for Coalesced.
Yep. And yeah, Thunderquake, they broke up into two pieces. Both of them are okay. Neither are really the ones you're going to be taking.
I don't think I'm ever going to take Thunderquake with Starbolt. Like I don't think I'm ever going to take the Star Host.
Which
Healing
one is
D3
that one?
wounds. That's the one where you
Heal
heal
one wound.
D3 wounds if there's a slan nearby.
I
One
mean,
wound
now if that was
otherwise.
in Coalesce, that might make Thunder Lizard worth running.
Yeah, you would get so much healing. Like Vision of the Gods Hill that you could maybe pump twice.
Yeah,
The
2d6
Slan
healing
Hill.
is enough to keep your beasts in the game, but it's in the
Uh
wrong
huh.
prime faction.
Yep, exactly.
And on the
And
other
same
one,
for the Shadow Strike. Like, why do I care about deep striking Riperdactyls or Pterodons when I can either take Fangs of Sotek and run them there,
mhm,
or I can take Dracothian's Tail and do the exact same thing? It feels like they were switched.
I mean, not to say these aren't all great, because they're all great. At least nowadays, there's definitely a downgrade from what we used to have.
Yes. Uh huh. I feel like both Sunclaw and both Fire Lances. Those are my favorite battalions.
Hmm. Which is great
Uh,
because everyone wants to play a grinder army with Seraphon, and now we can.
yeah, and I'll still take Shadow Strike. Like if I'm taking everything I need to be in it, and I don't know what to do with 170 points, I'll take Shadow Strike because sure, I'll get the extra artifact. Why not?
Yeah, that's a very astute point. We're going to be taking battalions for the extra artifact, not for what they do, which is kind of
Uh
what
huh.
KO does.
Uh huh. Yeah,
But
it's what a lot of armies do now. Like if you have to take a sub faction, uh, you take a battalion so you can take an artifact from a line sorcery.
mhm, or from your own.
Uh huh.
That's
Yep.
the problem with having really cool artifacts of your army is most of the time you won't use them because sub factions take it up.
Yeah.
But let's see. And finally, to the meat of the issue, we have battalions. No, we just did
War
battalions. We
scrolls.
have war scrolls.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Slan's just better. Like,
Slan
didn't
and
go up in
Croak just
points.
got so much better.
Yeah, didn't go up in points at all. Slan's still 260.
Mm-hmm.
Gift from the Heavens now doesn't hit every unit. You got to pick one, whatever. Uh, we
I,
got Comet's Call. That's amazing.
yes, I love the fact that Comet Skull is now on the Slan because it's a really good spell.
It's so
Much
good.
better than their old one. And
Yeah, and
even if
Comet's Call
you,
is identical. Like, it didn't even change. It's
mhm,
still as good as it was.
even if you are taking a Slan Master over Croak, he's a solid choice.
Yep. Foresight is awesome. Roll 2 dice on a 4+. You get a command point. Super
Hmm.
cool. We have
He's
a
going to be the heart of
built-in.
our engine.
He is, yeah. And Masters of Order, like both Croak and the Slan get it. It's amazing. It's what our Allegiance ability used to be for casting and unbinding anywhere and dispelling.
Hmm.
But now we also get +1 to it. Like that's just great.
Yeah, the plus
That's
one to
pretty much.
dispel is going to be the really big thing about them.
Uh-huh.
Just being able to completely shut down most enemy casters is just going to be so useful.
Yeah, yeah, it's incredible. And combine that with the unlimited range, like it's good. It's really good. Uh Croak is exactly like he used to be, except his command ability is now what the old Slan command ability used to be,
Hmm.
and he just gets it. He just gets to roll 3 dice instead of two. I don't know, 4+, get a command point. Awesome,
Which is good.
lovely.
We're
I
a
take it.
CP hungry army.
We
And
yeah,
it's
we really
important to
are.
keep in mind. We.
Celestial Deliverance unchanged, just as good.
Mhm. Uh, let's see. I miss the awesome feel of Dead of Innumerable Ages, but it's good now.
Yeah, it's effectively double your wounds essentially.
Hmm.
And you can get lucky or unlucky. Sometimes it'll be a lot. Sometimes it will just be 7. Um,
But yeah, Slans are major winners. So,
hmm
to a lesser extent, are Saurus, Salamanders.
hmm
These are all things that are good on their inherent War Scroll and get better with buffs. That's the
Yeah.
thing. If you look at the meta right now, all the really good units in the game, Ardboys, Phoenix Guard, Mortec Guard, Flamers, these things are all good before buffs.
Uh huh.
And
Yep.
so my winners of this book are going to be the same, because while it's great when a unit can just do horrendous amounts of damage or be unkillable with buffs, you don't always have those resources. CP,
hmm
even the fact that we can pump out so much, CP is rare in this game. We buff
Yep.
per phase. That means if you want to buff a unit of Source completely, you need 4 in a round.
Yeah.
And this is important for everyone to remember. Yes, we can make anything good, but our resources are limited. Be careful.
Yeah. Very true. I know some people were upset at it, but I actually really like it. I like that both Old Bloods have the same command ability, and
Mm-hmm.
that both Scar Veterans have the same command ability. Because it means if I want that command ability, I don't have to pay the tax of a Carnosaur in order to get it. I can pay 100 points less and take the Saurus Knight. Or I can pay 140 points less and take the Foot Old Blood. I like that. Um,
Yeah, and my problem with that is now there's very little reason to take a Carnosaur beyond the fact that you love them dearly and the
and
situational
you can give it
cases.
6 bites.
Yes, yes. If you want to
Yeah.
make him a missile, you definitely can, but most people are just going to be running the foot version.
Yeah. Which in a way is nice because now it means your hero's got a 3+ save, +1 to save.
Yeah.
You've got Lookout, sir. So arguably that like 7 wound Old Blood on foot is more survivable than the 12 wound Old Blood on a Carnosaur.
I don't know why they didn't give them a 3-up save.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or at least the Scar veteran, well, the one with the big honking shield that doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah, I know, right? Both Scar veterans, like the one on the Carnosaur and the one on the Old Blood, I feel like, or Cold One, I feel like they should both have 3+ save.
Because it's just dying to have a ethereal amulet put on them, but it doesn't work with the 4-up save.
Yep. I feel like pretty much every Saurus unit, with the exception of guards, got better, and I will definitely take.
Yep.
Um, like Saurus Knights, they've got a bunch of attacks on them. I like them. No Rend, that's okay.
And you don't have to
That's not
buff
what they're
them as
there
hard
for.
as the rest.
Yep. Yeah, you can just, they're good on their own. They don't need help. The Astrolith Bearer got weaker, but I'm still going to bring him
Right.
because he also got cheaper.
I know we
Uh,
disagree on this. You really like him because of the range increase and the casting
yep.
buff. I really don't, because I don't think 6 after save is worth 140 points in a hero slot.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, if I didn't take him, I'd probably just be taking additional skink heroes, which is fine too. Like having 2 skink priests, absolutely, that's worth it.
redundancy is always really important. Speaking
Yep.
of Skink's heroes, we have the Starseer. It's good to
Yeah,
see
this
you'll
is
finally see
basically
the
Battle
battlefield
Tome
again.
Skink. Yeah, he's my favorite model. He's why I started playing Seraphon, was I saw his model.
He looks just so cool.
Yep. He's got a little Cosmic Herald. It's 4+, get a command point. So yay, more command points.
Hmm.
We didn't get any double spells on our wizards. Like I was hoping the Star Priest and Star Seer would both be level 2 wizards.
But in
Uh,
exchange, he's really cheap.
he's cheap, and we basically get an automatic spell. We get the Astromancer's Staff and then the Serpent Staff.
Hmm.
Like those are abilities that are good enough. You would expect them to be a spell, but instead they're just automatic. So I think that makes up for the fact that both of them are level 1 wizards.
It also makes up for the fact that we didn't get prayers because that's essentially how our units pray.
Yeah, yeah. We just, instead of having to roll a 3 or 4+, we
We
just
we sit
point a
in the
stick at
back
them.
and hit Saurus with sticks.
Yep.
Granted,
Skink Oracle on Troglodon breaks my heart. I read the War Scroll and I'm like, yes, this is all awesome. I'm going to take this model. The War Scroll got leaked to me, immediately pinned it up a Troglodon like 2 weeks ago.
hmm
Then the book comes out, and he costs as much as
it
I'm
costs
just never
more
going to
than
take him.
two other Skink Star Priests.
Yeah, you can bring the Star Seer and the Star Priest for the same price as a Troglodon.
Hmm.
Breaks
And
my heart.
uh, I don't know why he's that expensive. Because he's on a bad monster. The monster is still one of the worst ones in the entire game.
Yep. But if you want to be cheeky, you could give him the Feather Cloak. So now he's moving 16 inches with Fly, and you run him upfield. And then if by some miracle of miracle he's alive, you have Cloak, Celestial Deliverance off of him.
The base movement's 10. He's only 14 inches.
Aw, well, 14 inches. I'll take it.
I don't know why they made him slower. Oh well. And
Yeah.
mm, like some of his abilities make it seem like he's supposed to be a melee hero and just the target for Croak's buffs, but he doesn't have the survivability for that.
Okay, so what is funny is that his Divining Rod is more likely to deal damage than a Scar Veteran's War Spear.
Really?
Yeah, 2 attacks, 4s and 4s, rend 1 D3 is more likely in the current meta to get damage through than 6 attacks, 3s and 3s, no rend 1
This does not surprise me. GW has a weird thing with war scrolls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Regular Skink Priest, awesome. Definitely going to take it. Skinks, I like them.
It is important to note about the Skink heroes. Their buff is only 1 per hero.
Mm-hmm.
So again, be careful and judicial to what you use when.
Yep. Regular Skinks are definitely worse because they lost Wary Fighter. But I still like them. I'm still going to be using them. 10-man units with Javelins and Shield. They're great for soaking up the board and for blocking charges because now we actually want to do that. So,
Yep.
like, being able to use them to set up so we're the one to charge. Perfect. Awesome. Love them.
Just
They move
never,
fast enough to get out of the way when we want them to.
yeah, just never ever take them in coalesce.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. That bravery is it's gonna murder them.
Yep.
Chameleon Skinks still worth bringing. They got cheaper. You could buff them all up if you wanted to, but now that they can't just ambush anywhere, I don't know. I'm probably not gonna bring.
Right. Their only real purpose in the old book was the 0 range teleport, and they don't have it anymore.
Yeah. Yep. Now it's gone. Salamanders, though, bring as many of those as you own.
They got more
They're
expensive
incredible.
by 2 times, but they do more damage by 4 times now. I like this trick.
Yeah. Against a 5+ save, however many shots you have, that's on average how much damage you will do. So if you have a unit of 3, they're going to deal at least 12 damage against a 5+ save.
They do anywhere from 12 to 17 damage.
Yeah. It's like they're good.
Mm-hmm.
And they're super easy to calculate.
They are much better in melee. A lot of our units actually make great skirmish fighters where they want to shoot, charge, and then beat you up in melee.
Yeah. Which is cool. I like it. It feels very thematic.
And I really like salamanders, not even to actually fight with. Just the fact that with Lords of Space and Time or airdropping them from the sky, you can just point at them for the whole game and make your opponent play badly to avoid salamanders killing their more important stuff.
Yeah. Well, and going from that 6-inch range to 12-inch range, even if they had nothing else, like if they didn't gain the better combat for that
Right,
Ren 2 and the sixes to hit didn't do D3 more, just getting 12 inches would probably make me take them over Razordons.
right. Because always the thing that held them back from Razordons is the fact that you couldn't teleport and then smash them with them.
Yeah, you had to teleport them and the handlers. Whereas I would rather just teleport two Razordon packs instead.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like now they've got that 12-inch range. Like they're awesome. I'm gonna be taking them.
And
And Razordons are still good. Like
yep, they're way more expensive, which is the downside. But the bad
uh-huh.
wording where they can shoot when they charge is just so funny.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a whole lot like D6. I think most of the time you'll get more shooting out of your Pterodons. Um, Granted, it's 6-inch range versus 18-inch range. Uh, but yeah, in most cases for 80 points, I'm going to take the Pterodons over a Razordon.
Mm-hmm. But it's good to know that our models aren't useless. They're the one good unit we had that didn't get completely brutalized.
Yeah, which is nice because I had 16 of.
Yep. So, thank you, GW. You didn't ruin our entire existing armies.
Uh huh. Yep.
And
I was afraid that neither pack, and then I would have to change my title from Grand Skink Handler to something else on Lustria. But yeah, hunting packs are still good.
Mm-hmm. And Croxigar are good. It's good to see my brothers will hit the table again.
Yeah. You can pretty much bring them in any list because every army has at least one horn that they're good. Even if there's not a horde, like if you're fighting uh, ogres and there's not a bunch of models, or you're fighting like storm fiends or whatever you're fighting, like Kroxagar are still good. They'll still
Yes,
fight it.
they fixed the jaws. Rend is good. +1 rend across the board is good. The fact that their ability went from reroll ones to wound to +1s to hit means they hit and wound on 3s, which is the target number for big dudes.
Yep. Yep.
They just got so much better, and I really
And they
like.
move 8 inches.
They always
Like
moved 8 inches, and they just were held back by the fact that they didn't do any damage.
yeah, yeah, but like they're ogres but better. Like they're just a glutton +1 across the board. They've actually got a rend. They've got a 4+ save. Like they're good. They're
Mm-hmm.
140 points and they're good.
I love them as counter punchers. Just hide them behind something you expect to die, and then kill whatever killed it.
Yeah. Or like if you're running, you can have a big blob of skinks in front of them. They charge the skinks. You've got a 4+ chance of those skinks running away after they've shot them.
Mm-hmm.
And then on your turn, you just walk your Croxigar forward and hit them.
Yep. But yeah, and they fit really well in a lot of empty spaces in our army.
Yeah.
I find more often than not that I have 240 or 280 points left in my army, which is either 6 crocs or 3 salamanders.
Uh huh. Yep. It is hard for me to not take salamanders when I have the floating points for salamanders, though.
True, but every now and again you want to take what you love more than what's best.
Yeah, and the upside about those Croxigar, if you're taking a, that's 12 wounds. If you're
Mm-hmm.
taking a unit of 6, you've got 24 wounds. That's pretty hard for even Disciples of Zinch to reliably shoot through with a 4+ save.
Especially when
Uh,
they're -2 to hit them.
yeah. Uh, so yeah, I like Croxigar a lot.
Mm. Now we have a unit that is neither a winner or a loser because nobody knows how the hell it works. We have the Mastildon. I'm going to reserve
Well, the
judgment
Arc of
here.
Sotek is just a straight up loser. Like it don't take the Arc.
It got worse.
Uh,
It was always bad and it got worse.
yep, the engine is all you're ever going to take now.
And it got
And
worse
the
not because it itself is worse, but because the buffs we can put on it are worse.
yeah, Thunderquake as it was with the old Astrolith is gone. But it did get 60 points cheaper.
Which,
Uh,
yes, it always needed to be 60 to 80 points cheaper, but that was the old good version of it.
uh
And
huh.
now
Yep.
it might be good, depending on how the save is supposed to function.
Uh huh. Yeah.
But that is, everyone's been arguing about that. No one knows how it works. We'll make a special mention of it next episode when we actually know because of the FAQ.
Yeah, I lean towards it's just immune first level. Who knows?
I have no idea.
Pterodon Riders,
Got
really,
so much
really
better.
good. One, they got massively cheaper. Uh, that was awesome. And then the Pterodon Chief just makes them amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Your cargo got slightly weaker because it used to be you could just move one over and then they all drop on it. Now each of them have to move over.
But you
But
do
doing
it
it
on
on a
a
2
and they
plus,
move 16?
yep.
Which means you can actually
Uh,
hit, if people toe the line on 18-inch ones, if you're running them in SOTEC, you hit them turn 1.
yeah, because you've got that. You're now 19 inches of. You can mark of the steed them. You
You can run with them.
can you can run with them with your skink priest prayer. You can throw down cogs. Like you're gonna drop your cargo. You don't have to worry.
Mm-hmm. And then after that,
And
they
you're
just make,
charging 3d6.
yep. And after that, you just make them really, really they're durable um, screens after that.
Yeah. Yep. I'm
Unfortunately,
always taking Sunleech Bolas. One, they look amazing.
mm-hmm,
Uh,
they're just
and
better.
two, it's good. Yeah, D6. It used to be one attack that hits on a 4 and does D6 hits.
Which
Now
is the
it's
same as
D6
just
attacks
D6
that
attacks.
hit on a 4. Yeah, so much better.
I mean,
Uh,
it's the same thing.
well, so it used to be half as likely to go off because only half your hits would hit for
Right,
D6. Now you have D6 that hit on 4s.
right. But
Uh,
half of those D6 miss. So it's the same thing. They just removed useless text. If half of your attacks become D6s, or half
uh-huh.
of your D6s hit, then you get the same numbers.
That's true. But what it does end up being is less swingy. Um, because you could have those instances where like way over 4 up, way under 4 up.
Mm.
And now that's less likely to occur simply by weight of dice.
Yeah,
Like it might not change the average, but it definitely changes the swings.
gotcha.
So I'll take that. Consistency is super useful.
Mm. But for every point that pterodons got better, rippers, dactyls got worse.
I still like them though,
Right. But
because I'm
wouldn't it
gonna
be
end
better
up with.
if they were their old profile, cost
Oh yeah,
like
that'd be so much
200
better.
points and got the current buffs? Like, make them
Yeah,
cost appropriately, but make
yeah.
them a scary, scary unit. When people see Ripperdactyls on the other side of the field, they just immediately
So
change their game plan.
I would be entirely fine with all the changes in the current point cost if they had a 4+ save.
But they
Like,
don't.
let my shield be useful. Like, we used to be a 5+ save, bring me up to a 4+. If we were at a 4+, that'd be perfect. I'd run them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to run them because I think it's fun to wait 3 turns, have 12 command points, and then have like 15 attack tearing jaws per model. Like, that'll get through a lot.
Yep. And Toad Rage, they lost Swooping Dive, which really, really hurts them. But
Hmm.
Toad Rage is actually far better than it was.
Yeah, because now we still get 3 attacks on our jaws. We don't have to like hope that we put the toad in the right place. Like they're much more player friendly.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be nearly as like an expert at predicting the flow of battle in order to be able to use your Ripperdactyls, unless you want to use them turn 1.
Mm. And you have, let's see. If you have 2 or 3 units of Rippers, every time they'll be in combat, they have it because it's a massive range and affects everybody.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, for the various chiefs. Yep, you've got 18 inches, Holy Within, and then Holy Within bombs. Like, the our flyers are just as good as they were. Pterodons got better, Rippers got worse, but they're still very much worth very much worth bringing.
Yep. It's a shame the boxes are so weird and that our chiefs are just so fragile. That's a
Hmm.
big thing across our army. Unfortunately, these guys don't summon as well.
Yeah, unless we're all reading it wrong and spells for D3 conjuration.
Then
Uh,
we are back
then
on
our
top.
summoning it's not only back on top but better because you could bring
No.
Croak and a Slan. Oof,
It
yeah,
has a higher ceiling but a higher cost. It got
it's true.
worse because it's really expensive now, but we have
Yeah,
a higher threshold.
yeah, yeah. Especially if you can give up multiple spells. Like if that's the case, we're gonna be real good at summoning.
Yep, and I will rescind all previous comments.
Yep.
And finally, we have our
Uh,
Stegodons.
yep. Both versions are kind of meh in
We
my
talked about
opinion.
the Engine of the Gods earlier. It
Yep.
just got kicked hard.
It
And
got kicked real hard. I
it's
got 2 extra wounds.
true. It's a hero that's
uh,
more durable than the generic version.
and we've got Rend on all of our attacks, but it wasn't worth the point hike, and the engine part of it just got worse.
Yes.
The summon can only summon 10 Saurus warriors now, which is okay. It's only a 2D or 2D6 table, but now you get to make it D3 if there's a slan.
You know,
So,
if we still had our old way of rolling it, I think I'd still take them.
oh yeah, even if you could only activate one engine at a time, like per turn,
Mm.
I'd still take the engine if it kept its old dice profile for the engine.
Yeah, but you cannot
Uh,
run it without a. You
it,
cannot run it without that. And Stegodon, their range attacks are just bad.
yep. The best thing that happened to the either Stegodon is the armored crest. Like that is actually pretty useful.
It is really situational, but it will keep a hero from running up and smashing them.
Yep.
Forget that. Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to take the Sky Streak bow more often than not because I don't want it in combat anyways. Uh, so why would I take a weapon that makes me get as close as I possibly can to use it?
Yeah.
Like I just don't feel like it's still going to be alive to shoot.
Yeah. Gouda Sunflyer is good. It's about as good as it used to be, and the fact that it's mortals is useful.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I can't. I don't see it being alive. Like how am I going to charge into you so that I get the maximum number of shots possible
Yep.
and still live through the turn to get to shoot you? And that's assuming I win the roll off and get to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a shame. All of our monsters could have been great, but they're not.
Yep. Yeah, I
Um,
don't want to have to rely on getting a double turn to shoot you with fire.
yeah. But I hear that your troops have recently been practicing a formation. Do you mind telling us about that?
Yeah, so it's one list that basically has 2 iterations.
Mm-hmm.
They're both Fangs of Sotek. Uh, they're both Croak. They're both the Astrolith Bearer, Belwyn Vortex, all of that. They both have 2 max units of Salamander hunting packs. So the unit, this is the core list, and then I'll tell you change it. It's a Skink Starseer. He's the general attack. I gave him Master of Star Rituals for that extra +1.
Uh-huh.
Hand of Glory because that's generally speaking my turn 1 spell for him. I probably don't need that +1 save because I'm probably not trying to get in turn 1 in most cases. Lord Croak because he's just really good. The Ashleth Bearer because I feel like he's pretty mandatory. Skink Star Priest, and then it's either a Pterodon Chief or a Ripper Chief. Those 2 change out, and then a Skink Priest. Battle line, 3 minimum units of Skinks with Javelin. And then it's either a unit of 12 Pterodons and
Going for the mortals.
yep, going for those mortals. And then 2 maxed out units of Salamander hunting packs with Bellwind and Geminids. Or the other list is 9 Ripperdactyls instead of the 12 Pterodons. It's got the Ripper Chief. And then I actually took a unit of 40 Skinks because that one I am planning to Alpha Strike with a 40-man blob of Skinks because I want to hold those Ripperdactyls back. I want to farm up as many command points as I can. I want to wait for my enemy to get up to me and then hit the thing I want to hit with the Rippers. So in order to facilitate that, to help me on turn 2, 40 Skinks. 40 Skinks with all the buffs will do some decent work. I think it's something like 11 damage out of shooting and then like 22 damage out of combat. That was sort of the low average that I was hitting in simulators. Um, that's good damage. Like that will actually chunk through some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can probably kill a Galthazar Harvester if you get lucky with shooting.
That's really so much nice.
Yeah, like you only need to end up 2 damage over average in order to kill a Galthazar Harvester. Um, so that'll happen. That'll happen in a decent number of your games. And then if you can hit it with any spell as well, like being 2 damage away means that Comet's Call will probably help you. Like between Comet's Call and the 40 Blob of Skinks, you've killed the Galthazar.
So
Um,
the general idea is to snipe their important stuff off with skinks while your whatever flyer you took hits whatever's left.
yeah, that's sort of the goal. So either you use the 40 Skinks and then you sort of bide your time with the Raiders, and you can use your Salamander, like the Skinks running up and shooting that Galthazar. Then you can drop down like 2 max units of Salamanders and shoot some more attack. Like just in general, you have the ability to snipe heroes. You can kill elites. You can kill hordes. I like the Ripper Dactyl list because it gives me a blob of 40 Skinks and I find them funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Pterodon list is probably.
Yeah, being able to do that many mortals, even if it's just one.
Yep. And they're both 1990, so you've got like a moderate chance at either uh, preventing an opponent from getting a triumph or you getting a triumph. Like a lot of lists that I seem to run into are like exactly 2,000 points or they're 1990.
Right. And
So
triumphs,
that's at least nice.
yeah. Nart on Lustria Online mentioned that triumphs are really good for our army.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're amazing.
Now that we
All of
don't
them are
have
good.
any reroll anythings, and if you manage to eke out reroll wounds,
Uh huh.
so nice.
Yeah, on those skinks, ooh, that gets real scary. And even just getting like the extra command point. Now we've actually got command abilities worth using. Uh, so that's great too.
Mm-hmm.
And then the mandatory artifact that I have to take because these both sadly don't have a battalion in them. Like I think you could fit Shadow Strike if you wanted to. I just wanted Salamanders more.
That's
Um,
fair.
but the Serpent God's dagger is on either of the two chiefs. Like it's either the Pterodon chief or the Ripper chief, because frankly, that's the only skink I ever want in combat. Um,
And even then,
so
only after he's dropped the bomb.
yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like, sure, I'll risk killing Marathi, and if I've already used my chief for what they're supposed to, because they're both kind of a one and done situation. Yeah, I might as well kamikaze my chief. Maybe I'll kill something with a dagger.
Fair enough. Well, it's good to hear from you, but unfortunately, the wilds are calling me back. But so far, a good show and a good start to our conversations. It was good talking to you, Lizard Wizard.
Yeah, thank you. I know we were a bit long-winded, so thank you to all of those who listened all the way.
It was our first time and a big topic to go across.
Very true.